Hey BookTube, it's Jackie. How's it going? If you're new to me, it's the first time you're seeing my face. Hello, what's up? My name's Jackie. I sit on my floor and I talk about books. So that's why you're here, because that's what's going to be happening today. And if you are not new to me, thank you for always choosing in and continue to support me. I really do appreciate it. So today for you, I have a book recommendations video, and this is all on books with winter settings. This recommendations video is actually being done in collaboration with 4 other women over here on BookTube, and they are as follows: Millie over at Into the Nook, Kristen at Kristen Craves Books, Jack over at Jack and the Book Stack, and our collaboration hostess, Becky over at BeckX Reads. So to Becky, thank you again for asking me part of your collaboration. I'm having a great time, and I hope you enjoy my recommendations just as much as I enjoy you. So I've got plenty of books to talk about, so without further ado, grab yourself a drink, have yourself a seat, and let's get talk about some of the winter settings that I love to get lost in. Okay, so I have recommendations that span genres, because something about me is I love being cold. I love it when it's cold outside and I'm curled up on a couch in a blanket or in a hoodie or an oversized flannel. I just love it. And I love stories that invoke the outside environment inside my house. I have always been a cold person, have always been drawn to it. So my selections do span genres, they span age ranges, and they span spiciness levels. Yeah, we got some spice. We needed some heat in the cold, because although I love to be cold, I still like to be warm. And some of these will get you kind of warm in certain places. And the first recommendation I have for you is just that. Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon. This is the first installment to the Ice Planet Barbarians series, and we follow Vectel and Georgie. Georgie is a human woman that was kidnapped by some alien human traffickers, and their transport crashed onto the ice planet that is our main setting for the story. And so when the captors go to get more reinforcements, they leave a few of their captors with their captives on this ice planet. Through a series of events, they were able to overcome them, and Georgie is selected to go out and search the elements try to find some sort of help. Well, yeah, she finds some help, and she also finds a way to keep warm with a 7-foot-tall blue alien named Vectel, who is ribbed for her pleasure in all the right places. This story is a good time. It's fun. It's super spicy, super steamy, and that ice planet with those negative temperatures doesn't stand a chance with the heat that is between Vectel and Georgie, because Vectel loves his Georgie. He loves his Georgie a lot, and in many different ways and places. Yeah, this is a good one for those really chilly nights that you really want to be warmed up super fast, because you will. Trust me, you will. The next recommendation I have for you is The Bronze Horseman by Planet Simons. This book I did a full book review for way back in the day in 2016 when I originally started my channel, so I'll link it up here for you guys so you can take a look at it. I had a blast with this book. This is the first installment to a trilogy, and it is just painfully, exquisitely beautiful. Oh my God, Paulina Simons, the way she writes, the way she controls words, the way she uses them to invoke literally everything. In this book, we follow Tatiana, and how she meets Alexander and kind of their love story. Tatiana is a girl during World War II? I think it's World War II Russia. Soviet Russia. And she meets Alexander, who is an officer in the Red Army. And you see the trials and tribulations to the romance developing, but what you also see is this historical fiction that is just drenching in description. Paulina Simon literally transports you to Soviet Russia in winter. You feel how cold it is outside. You feel the starvation of Tatiana. You smell the blueberry pie that she's able to scrap together through the rations that she was given. You feel everything between Alexander and Tatiana. Paulina Simon's use of words and descriptive techniques is just unfucking believable. If you are looking for a historical fiction, here you go. If you're looking for a really solid base romance, here you go. If you're looking to feel pain because you want to, here you go. If you're looking to cry your damn eyes out, here you go. If you're looking to feel every single fucking sentence in this book, this is a good one. I love books that transport me, and this one did. This was a gift from one of my good friends, and after I finished it, I called him at 3 o'clock in the morning and just gushed about how much I loved this book and how thankful I was that he gave it to me. This thing was absolutely phenomenal. I have a great memory with this book, and I cannot wait to finish the rest of the series. Now, granted, I say that, but I have yet to do it because I'm so scared of ruining the memory that I have with this book because it's so poignant. It's so special. It was such a beautiful story, and I had such a great time with it. I highly, highly recommend this one, and go check out that review if you want a more in-depth review on it. The next installment I have is A Winter Promise by Christelle Davos. This is a translated work, French to English. It was translated by Hildegard Serrel, and it is the first installment to the Mirror Visitors Quartet. I read this book just this past year, and I did a full book review on it as well, and I will link it here over here for you guys. You can go check it out. But quick synopsis of the story, we follow Ophelia and Thorn. Ophelia is an animist, which is basically a power that she has that she can hold an object and she can tell you the history of the object through the eyes of anybody who's ever encountered it at the moment of their moment of contact of it, which I thought was a really fucking cool ass power. Being a history person, I thought that was really, really cool. Oh, and the bitch can walk through mirrors. Yeah. A lot of cool, magical, fantastical elements in this story, not to mention political machinations. We have an arranged marriage. We have Thorn, who is from what they call an ark. It's kind of like their floating island. He is from Pole, and he's an arranged marriage with Ophelia. And this arranged marriage, I mean, it is a grumpy sunshine if there ever was one, except I don't know if this romance is going to happen because it's so, so slow. But one really cool element besides the unique magic systems, the political machinations in this story is the environment. The Ark of Pole is literally a character in of itself. It's so unyielding. It's so bitter. It's so cold. It's so just destructive that it literally infuses itself into the story and messes with the plot line. This arc, because of the people that live in it and the way they have to live to deal with their environment, becomes a major player in and of the story of itself. So not to mention the romance, the subterfuge, the spying, the unique magic abilities, you have an environment that literally becomes a major player in the story. It is fantastic. A great fucking time. Another first installment to a series. I have not completed the rest of the series, but I do plan on completing it very, very soon. It's a great fucking time. I highly recommend it. The next installment I have is actually a book based off of a true story, and that is The Revenant by Michael Punk, the novel of revenge. This is loosely based off of the true story of Hugh Glass, who was an American frontiersman working for the Rocky Mountain Fur Trading Company. On a beaver fur trapping mission, he encountered a grizzly bear and was mauled. He had gashes down his neck, down his back, and his company commander decided to make a very utilitarian approach and sacrifice one for the many. So he chose two people to stay back and basically wait out Hugh Glass while he died so they could bury him. While they are waiting, they encounter a native hunting tribe. And at this time, American frontiers and natives, they were not on speaking terms. They were not copacetic. It was not a happy time. So these two decided to save their own asses and flee. But what they did is some serious heinous shit. They not only just left him, they took everything. They took his gun, they took his pack, they took every chance of survival that he had. And they fled for their own, and to save their own ass. Hugh Glass takes that element of hate and scorn and just fuels him to survive this snowy winter, unforgiving elements that he has been stranded in. This story is a story of human survival with nothing but sheer will. If you like survivalist books with actual survivalist techniques being utilized the correct ways, here you go. If you are into hunting and trapping and fur trading and things of that nature, historical fiction, here you go. If you're into straight fucking revenge stories, here you go. Another element to this story, this environment, you get a very clear description of the environment that Hugh Glass is left in. Michael Punk gives you a very clear view of what he was dealing with, and every style, whether it was the cold, whether it was the river he had to cross, whether it was the animals he encountered, everything. He does such a really good job of making the environment one of the hurdles and the adversaries that Hugh Glass has to overcome to get his revenge. This thing was turned into a major motion picture a few years ago starring Leonardo DiCaprio. It is called The Revenant, so you might have heard of it from that. And Leonardo DiCaprio actually won Best Actor for his representation of Hugh Glass in that film, and it was excellent. So I highly recommend the film and the book. An interesting fact about this book for me is I actually put it on my self-destruct list. So if I didn't read it by a certain date, I had to get rid of it. And I am very, very thankful that I read it, because it now has a permanent place on my library shelf, and I'm not letting this one go. This is definitely a keeper. It is one for the books, and it is definitely a ride for sure. Highly, highly recommend this one. I could not have a winter setting recommendations video without talking about this book, because I mean, it's a classic for a reason, and that is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis, the second installment to the Chronicles of Narnia. The Chronicles of Narnia has the first installment of Magician's Nephew, but you do not have to read The Magician's Nephew to understand The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So a lot of people believe it's actually the first installment. But The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe follows 4 children: Peter, Susan, Edmund, and Lucy. Lucy walks through a wardrobe and encounters Narnia. And as she sees Narnia, it is covered in ice and snow. It's glistening and beautiful, and it invokes the Christmas spirit. But what she finds out later, as she journeys further in and meets all of our fantastical creatures, including Mr. Tumnus, a fawn, she realizes that the icy climate that she's experienced is not something of beauty, but something of pain and anguish and evil, because the Ice Queen has taken over Narnia and destroyed its actual beauty. So it is the story of these 4 trying to save Narnia from the Ice Queen, and it is a classic for a reason. It is a middle grade story. I read that story with my daughter when she was little, and I just had a blast with it. It invokes so many good memories, and it's a special one. So if you are looking for something to share with your children that will invoke a cold setting and teach them that anything, even the environment, can be overcome, that one's the one. It's definitely a good one. I highly, highly recommend it. The next 2 recommendations I have they're still winter scene recommendations, but they also invoke another element, because when I think of winter, the main thing I think of is Christmas. So my next recommendation is A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. If you like classics, this is one of the classics of all classics. I read A Christmas Carol every Christmas season. At some point in time, I'll sit down and read it. And it invokes so much. It is set during the Christmas season, which is during winter in England. And it is a story of Bob Cratchit and Ebenezer Scrooge. Ebenezer Scrooge is a cold, old, bitter man who's greedy and only cares about money. And Bob Cratchit is a family man who loves and just is been given kind of a sorry lot in life, but he still, through hope and preservation, still maintains this cheery demeanor. 3 Christmas spirits visit Ebenezer Scrooge and melt his icy exterior, turning him into his own version of Bob Cratchit. This story is about Christmas, but it's also symbolic of something else. During the winter, everything dies. It's covered in this white, powdery, icy beauty. But that beauty can be terrible and destructive. Ebenezer Scrooge needs to be reborn. and you see the three spirits. The three spirits are that white, powdery, beautiful, but yet destructive element. They show Ebenezer beauty and fun and hope and memories, but at the same time, they destroy the Ebenezer Scrooge that we were originally introduced to. And when the snow melts, everything's green and lush and reborn. The next morning, Ebenezer wakes up a new man, forgiving, open-hearted, full of hope. A Christmas Carol is the perfect book for the winter setting because it invokes everything. And it's also one of my favorite Christmas stories. So if you are looking for a winter setting that can give you more than just a story, this is it. I highly recommend this one. And I just have to shout out this edition. This is the Penguin Clothbound edition, and it's absolutely stunning. Just saying. Had to throw that out there. And my last recommendation for this winter setting is another all-time favorite, and I read it every Christmas Eve. And it's Twas the Night Before Christmas by C. Clement Moore, or Clement C. Moore. This is the classic Christmas story. It is set during Christmas. It's snowy. It's winter. It invokes everything about the winter. And it's just a damn good story. If you've not read it or you've not heard it, go check it out. I mean, it's this big. It takes no time at all. Those are my winter scene recommendations for you guys. I hope you will take the time and pick some of these up, whether it's because you just want a wintry Christmas story, or you want where they can fight against the winter, someone of survival, where winter literally is a character, where you can feel everything and never have to leave your seat, or you just need something to really warm you up on those cold winter nights. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you guys all soon with another recommendations video. Stay warm. Bye, guys.